Okay, so this is the image we're going to be working on, and what I've done is I've actually made a copy over it of a black and white channel, so you can see that here, and I've masked it out. And so what I wanted to kind of explain was, if you were to take a still picture with your tripod before you did this long exposure, then you could take these blurry areas that were this is caused by too much ambient light hitting them. It's so your flash didn't freeze. Your flash froze motion, but there's some other motion caused by ambient light that got captured by your camera. And so what you could do is just paint on with white on the mask the areas that would have been, like, it's still going to look blurry because I don't have a sharp version of your picture, but the gray, you could imagine, would be the sharp version of the picture. And you just wouldn't paint where your sparkler went. And then when you get to that part, you could make another layer and just do blend mode, darken only or lighten. And you can use a blend mode to keep the long exposure sparkler streaks there while still bringing in the sharp parts of your couple. But and there's plenty of ways you could just reduce ambient light in camera. There's really not a right way to do it. You could use an ND filter or anything that would you could stop down your camera or turn lights off even. But so let's say you didn't have a choice and this is what you captured. So we're just going to work on this image. So Control J makes a copy of your layer so that we can work without destroying what's already there. And there's two ways to do this. One is clone stamp, and that's just a quick and simple way. I would just pick a spot on the grass and then make a really tiny brush, pick another spot underneath the part that you want to fix, and then you're just going to brush away this, and I have a soft brush, and that's the trick to this, and I'm just going to brush away this blur from the outside, and you're going to pick up some repeated patterns from the foliage, and we'll work on that. And one thing you can do is resample, so you can just resample over here. And the nice thing is that you've got this nice dark background, or apparently it looks dark, so without a lot of detail, so you're kind of just painting out all this, and this will let you keep some of that detail. And I'm using a huge brush for this. If you wanted to take more time, you could do that and make it look a little nicer. And I think it's okay to have a little bit of this glow left over. It looks like it's made from the sparklers, smoke, which could have caused some light to get picked up anyway. It just kind of depends on your personal preference and everything. And then let's see, you could do it to the other side too, and you can see that there's a little part that got picked up on the grass. So I would just sample down here at the grass, get close right there, take a sample on the line, and paint right there. Again, about right there, and then that'll help, smooth that transition out, and you can get rid of a lot of the color cast by doing that, and it'll only take you maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and you can see a pretty big difference just already. So that's one way to do it. And so let's delete that layer, and I'll show you another way. Is you can go to your channels and turn off your red and green channels and just keep your blue. Since most of that blur was a bright blue color, we can go to our blue channel only, and you can either use clone stamp like we did before and sample these darker areas and paint that out. But since there's almost no detail there, you can just take a black brush and just brush that out and come in right here and just keep shrinking your brush down. And that's not going to get rid of everything. It looks like it does, but then when I bring back my other two channels, you can see some green and red still here. So we can take the green channel and we can just paint away the green channel with black here. And some of that is the detail from the forest, but this bright green right here, that is part of that guy's shadow or what the ghosting. And then do the same thing for red as well. Make sure you're choosing the red channel and just use a soft brush and go through. You may not want to take it all out, but it's kind of personal preference. Since we're doing this on a new layer, you do have the opacity slider that you can use to bring this effect in more gradually. And I'll just do it on the one side for now, just to save time. Okay, so you can see quite a big difference between before and after on this part over here where I worked on it on the image. So that is a neat way to do it. And if you're worried about losing detail because you're basically painting in black, you can always do a curves adjustment, and you just drag your shadows way up and your highlights way down, and this will kind of highlight any detail that was there. And so you can see there is some detail here that you're going to want to preserve as much as you can. And over here there's a little bit, but that might just be the part that I brushed on there. But that's just so you make sure that there's nothing you're missing. So you can do that little curves trick to see what changes you're actually making that maybe you wouldn't notice on a screen, or it's just kind of my way of getting a closer look.